All right. So at the bottom of this, and I thought this was an interesting idea, about, having your calendar ready and trying to get them on the calendar right away, and having them contact you as soon as they pick their date. You can do that, or you can say that you'll contact them. But if you're going to have people contact you, or if you try to contact them and leave a message or you text and they don't respond, doing a group text with this potential host and the current host, with all three of you in there, to kind of follow up on that, I think is a really good idea, because it definitely is in the best interest of that current host for these bookings to take place, for, to get as many bookings. So if Christina's having a party and Janine might host, and I'm not hearing back from Janine, and I do a group text or group Facebook message to both of you, hey, Christina and Janine, I'm really excited about doing Janine's party, and Christina's going to be able to get a half price item. Let's go ahead and, find a date that's going to work. Because that's giving that potential next host a little bit more of a nudge along, because it's not just you that is getting in touch with them. It's also including their friend who just hosted the show. I think that can be, not that we're trying to, put people on the spot and make them uncomfortable or whatever, but at the same time, we'd like to at least hear back from them and either get that show scheduled, or if they've changed their mind, then so be it. But at least you'll know where they stand. So I think that's a really good idea for getting, again, it's basically another form of partnering with your host, to get bookings that are going to be great for that, for your calendar, for the current host to be able to get the half price item, and for that upcoming host, obviously, to get the benefits of having a show too.
Well, and also if something has happened to that person, the host might know about it. Like if they've had an accident or something. I mean, some crazy thing, sick kid or something.
Or a death in the family, or absolutely. And I have done that before. You're trying to reach the potential host, and so you get in touch with the previous one to say, hey, and it's usually, I'll just say something, text, I didn't hear back. Is there a better way to reach so-and-so? But I have not done it where it was a group thing with them both together.
Yeah, I've not done that either.
And I think that's an interesting approach, and a way to maybe just give a little more oomph to your attempts to contact them.
Right.
So the top one also does say, and this is a little note about next week, host coaching effectively, because that can definitely make a difference. And we're going to actually talk about host coaching next week. So we're not going a whole lot into that. So this here goes partly to the belief that we talked about last time. And this is not, I hope to get 2 bookings, or I'd like to get 2 bookings, but I will get 2 bookings. And, if you want to throw in maybe a third one. I mean, imagine what we just went through there with that 2 bookings per show. Imagine if it was 3 bookings per show, or if you even occasionally had a third booking in there. I mean, that really exponential growth in business is pretty mind-boggling when you look at it that way. So if you were doing cooking shows, catalog shows, even if they're all virtual parties or all cooking shows, anything like that, but having in your mind, now something like saying on the way to every party obviously doesn't apply if it's an online show, but the concept is the same. And having that be, I am a booking magnet, everyone wants to book a show with me. Why wouldn't they want to have one? Because this is going to be so fantastic. And really making that sort of your mantra, that is going to be such a basic part of your business. And then when you get into things like recruiting and host coaching and increasing your show average and everything like that, having a solid calendar is really the foundation for everything else. So, make sure that that's your mindset as you're going into it too. So last week we talked about belief as one of the pillars of success, and talked about different ways of strengthening your belief in the different things that you have to offer, and making sure that your belief, which for both of you was really strong in things like the products and our host benefits and the parties, that sort of thing. Have you had any more thoughts about that since last week, or anything that came to mind regarding your belief, whether it was in yourself or in anything else to do with your business?
Not really.
Nothing new? Okay, that's all right. So we're talking about passion is the next pillar, and looking at taking the belief and passion. I mean, it is sort of, I think, taking the belief and putting it into practice in a way, because if you believe something, that you have something good to offer, then sharing the passion that you have for that is kind of the next step, because the belief part of it is kind of internal. I think it shows to people. I think they pick up on it because of the way that you talk and kind of carry yourself. But passion is more about that, what you're really putting out to people in a pretty visible manner. Okay. Can they tell that you're in love with your products? Can they tell when you talk about bookings that it's going to be so much fun? Can you paint a picture so clear that they have to join your team because they would feel like they're missing out otherwise? That's where your belief in being and is expressed to other people in a very clear manner. Okay, because it certainly would be possible to have belief and keep it to yourself, and that would be really unfortunate. So having the belief it has to be there, absolutely. But when you then take that and kind of put it out there and you express it to people in some way and you make sure that they know what you believe, that's where the passion comes into play, and that they start to realize and be drawn to that, because people are drawn to that kind of a feeling about things, whatever it is that you're talking about. I mean, maybe you've been around people before that it almost doesn't even matter what they're talking about. You want to hang out with them and you want to do whatever it is that they're doing because it just seems really awesome and wonderful, and like you would be missing out if you didn't find out more about it or get involved or, do something with them or go wherever they're talking about or any of those sort of things. And that's the passion that, you want to have make the belief really come to life. Does that make sense? Or can you kind of understand what I'm talking about? Can you think of any times that either you have felt that yourself, you have done that, or that somebody else has that you've noticed? Janine, I can remember you talking about being, I think it was at a vendor event or something where there was a representative for a different company, or it might have been like a show that somebody had with a couple different companies, like not a full-on vendor event, but like you were there for Pampered Chef and there was somebody there and you talked about how that other person, I don't even remember what they were selling or anything, but just really had this really powerful kind of draw in the way, and I don't remember you saying it was any specific words that they used or, it wasn't magic, but something that you noticed about them that was like, wow, that's really, they've really kind of got it. Oh, I don't know. Got a great way of getting the message out, maybe, or something like that. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about.
I don't remember a specific time. I have experienced that a lot over the years doing vendor events or hosting, my own, parties, of different companies myself. But I know what you're talking about. I mean, in a general sense, I have certainly seen it. I think one thing that I've realized over the years is that passion does not equate to like being loud,
right?
or obnoxious,
right?
Sometimes we think that that's what it means, and it doesn't. I've run across a lot of people that are very passionate about their products, but are sort of almost reserved. Not reserved isn't the right word, but just I don't know. It can be any personality type, I guess, is what I think. And so many people think, well, I have to be like loud and boisterous and crazy, and you don't have to be like that.
And some people are. And if that's a natural, comfortable, authentic way for you to express your passion, go for it. That's fun and cool too. If that's not, though, you don't have to try to be something you're not in order to get that message across. What I think it is helpful is to be aware of it, so that you sometimes might step out a little bit and talk about something, or make sure that you're allowing that to come out. For somebody who's not as visibly passionate, they might tend to keep it in more, internalize a little bit more. And it's not that there's anything wrong with being a little bit, more reserved. the difficulty is that you might, you're kind of keeping something to yourself. And it's just kind of a shame. It's not like you're a bad person. It's not like you can't have a successful business. But your passion can come out in a way that's in line with your style. And like you said, it can be a quieter thing. It can be, something that is just as strong. I mean, because I'm sure probably all know people that are passionate about things totally aside from Pampered Chef, just life in general. Maybe it's about their job or their family or their school or some other, some cause that they feel passionately about. Maybe they're, really into, helping out an animal shelter or something. And their friends know that about them. They don't have to go screaming it from the rooftops. That's just part of who they are. And people who get to know them will know it because they talk about it, and you can see it in someone's eyes when they're talking about something that they really are passionate about. So we want to make sure to let that come through and kind of not hold back on it, and make sure that we're, doing it in a way that is authentic and comfortable, or else it's going to come across as kind of a weird, cheesy infomercial craziness. If that's not you, if that is you, then the funny thing is that if that is your style, then it won't come across crazy, because that's what people are accustomed to from you. You know what I mean? So it's not that any of those are wrong things, but finding a way and allowing yourself to show the passion in your own style, in the way that you are, and then people will be able to see that that's coming out. Okay. All right. So this is kind of going along the lines of what we did last time. And so just, thinking about, are you passionate about your products? Are you passionate about booking shows? And are you passionate about your business opportunity? And just, and you can just answer this for yourself. You can share it if you'd like. But thinking about it, if you are, then maybe are there some ways that you could be expressing that if you feel like you're not currently, really fully getting that message across. If you're not, then that's another conversation about kind of what's holding you back. Is there something that is keeping you from feeling passionate and really, it kind of goes, passion and belief are very closely related. So does it go back to, do you really have a belief in the great opportunity that hosting a show carries with it, and the products themselves in terms of the quality and usefulness and what you have to offer? Because if the belief is there, then that passion is sort of the next natural step. But that statement down at the bottom absolutely is true. Whether you are or not, it's going to show. And so being aware of that and what we're projecting is definitely the first step in either making a change if that is called for, or just building on what you already are feeling, and maybe, finding ways to expand that and open that up a little bit.
Well, that kind of falls into what we had talked about last week with the belief in yourself, because I feel like I'm passionate about the products, but sometimes I feel a little lack of belief in myself in terms of like, why do people care what I'm passionate about? Like, and Jill, you and I talked about this on the phone, but
right,
sort of this, okay, so I have this great thing to share, but why do they want to listen to me? Kind of. But,
right.
That's just
yeah. And as we talked about, when you're looking at a belief in the products, kind of almost separating yourself. It's not about me.
Right.
It's about this awesome product or business opportunity or hosting opportunity, and this person who could really benefit from it and love it. And I'm going to kind of remove myself. I'm going to facilitate it, but it's not about me.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be like a carrier, not of disease. But, I'm going to be the vehicle that this person gets to enjoy Pampered Chef through. So I need to do a good job of that, but realizing that they deserve to hear about that rock crock regardless of me. and make sure that at the very least that we're not be creating a barrier to them hearing about it because of our reservations about ourselves. Well, they don't want to hear from me. Well, but they want to hear about the rock crock, and I'm the one here. No one else can tell them about it. So if I hold back, then I'm limiting their opportunity to learn about this product. And I shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a certain amount of it that is not, it's not about me, and I need to take that focus off of myself and really look at, I need to pair up this person with this solution, this thing they're going to love and have fun with, and is going to change their life, and have it be about matching them up. And I'm just kind of the tool for doing that.
Yeah.
So there's some things listed here about ways to kind of find your passion. And I think these are all great ideas. Things like National Conference, Pampered Chef University. Of course, Janine and Christina, you guys are at very different places because Christina's pretty new. And Janine's been doing this for a long time. But even going through, whether it's something for Christina doing the first time in Pampered Chef University, or Janine going back and doing it again and, playing around with some of those things. They also are a lot different than Janine when you and I both started and such a thing didn't even exist. So that some YouTube videos, there are going to be a whole bunch of them just as sort of suggestions on this week's form for you to fill out with links to a bunch of different ones. Certainly not required, but if you've got some time you want to play around with them, they're just going to be some suggestions. Attending meetings, whether they're live or virtual ones, finding a fair or booth to work, or the vendor events, things like that, especially this time of year. This is a big craft fair season. Somebody, what do you call a batter bowl buddy is what we used to call it, where you might at a meeting put everybody's name in and everybody would pick out a name, and those were, you kind of partner up with someone for accountability and for somebody else besides me to talk to and to bounce ideas off of and kind of support each other. Attending or hosting a recipe night. So a recipe night is typically, we do them sometimes here locally, and it's a matter of sort of a recruiting thing. But really, it's a matter of inviting people. Everybody invites people that are interested in learning more about Pampered Chef to come over and make a recipe and talk. So it's not a recruiting, like an opportunity night really focused. We don't set up the kit, display or anything like that like we do occasionally with an opportunity night. It's really sort of like a show, except it's just more social and chatty, and often at like the consultant's house. So you guys are both not local to us here in Clarksville, but you can do the same thing and just host it yourself. And say, hey, I've got a couple new recipes for this season I'd like to try. I know you love Pampered Chef, or maybe we've talked before and you might like to learn a little bit more about it. I'd love to have you come and do that with me and, see some of this new stuff. But those are things too that can really, sometimes our passion and the way that comes across and getting accustomed to expressing it can be built up in response to other people. Like you'll notice on number 8, it says find a fair booth to work so you can hear how much everyone loves Pampered Chef. And it can remind us sometimes that there are a lot of other people too that share our passion and who are receptive to our passion. And then that can kind of, allow it to be expressed more. Is there anything else that you guys can think of that would be, maybe helpful in that way if you feel like you need help? Any thoughts?
I think I'm just pretty new at it, so I'm just getting, as far as the bookings and everything I'm good with, but recruiting the people, that part is, territory that I'm not comfortable with right now.
Okay.
The bookings and the parties.
Okay. All right. Well, and that's definitely something, and Christine, that we will talk about and is going to be part of this program here in the next couple of weeks as well, because that's certainly a very fun and cool part of your business for yourself in terms of growing your business, and also for the people that you're coming into contact with all these shows that you're doing that might be interested in learning more, and maybe you just haven't quite connected with them in that way yet. Okay. But it definitely is still something that you're going to be able to do. All righty. So any questions, anything about what we've talked about, or anything else you've thought of? All right. So homework this week is an audio called Abundant Bookings. And I will put this link in the Facebook group in a post, and it will also be in the form for you to fill out and submit to me again before our call later in the week too. And then in that form will be a spot for you to put at least 5 things, make some notes while you're listening to that if you're not driving, or go back to it later, make a few notes. But really try to pull out at least 5 things that stand out to you that kind of a light bulb coming on, or I'm going to try this at my next show, or the next time, I talk to somebody or have an opportunity. But we really want you to be finding useful information in these trainings, in the audio, in the video things, so that you're listening and really able to put some of those things into practice and have it be, something that really benefits your business. So it's all, it's great to listen to it, but I don't want to just listen to it and then you're done and, nothing changes. So that's really why we're looking at trying to make a note of at least 5 things that come out of that you really feel like you can start to implement in your business. And then these are kind of similar to the ones from last time. There are going to be questions in that form about, how many shows leads you got, bookings you got, what were your sales, also what you're, looking at really trying to book this week. How many shows will you commit to booking this week? So those could be ones from shows that you have going on or coming up this week, as well as, just sort of the out and about things, following up, doing some customer care, going back to previous shows and checking in with people. How are you enjoying your products? Were there other things you wanted to get? I'd love to help you get that free. How does that sound? So some of those things that you're looking at booking, really having that combination of current and upcoming shows, but also the ones that might be a brand new person that you just meet this week, or somebody that you reconnect with from, previous business or, times that you've talked with them. Okay. And that is it, other than when we're kind of figuring out when's a good time for us to talk, Thursday or Friday, like probably Thursday evening or Friday. Actually, this week I'm working at school on Friday. So I could talk Thursday night or Friday night, evening, like late afternoon, evening, that kind of thing. So what's good for you guys?
Thursday evening would be better for me. Oh,
so
sorry.
Thursday evening for both?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we will plan on that. I'll send you a text first and make sure it's a good time. Okay.
Hey, with the Christmas season and Thanksgiving season approaching very fast, and all of y'all's experience, how slow, or do you find like it doesn't get slow as far as booking parties and?
I found it doesn't get slow. I mean, a lot of it is how you approach it and how you kind of the expectation that you set. October, November tend to be the biggest, really September through October, but particularly October and November, the biggest months of the year, over like for the whole company wide. And even December, I don't find it really starts to get slow until around the middle of December. Like you can usually book up the first couple of weeks of December. I don't know if they have put out yet. I haven't seen it. The cutoff date, they'll have a cutoff date. It's usually around the 15th of December, where shows have to be submitted by that date for guaranteed delivery by Christmas. And it's actually guaranteed Christmas delivery by like December 22nd, Janine, does that sound right? Because they want to give hosts time to get stuff to their guests too, for products that are going to the host and being delivered. So the cutoff is really designed to give some extra time, not just delivery by like Christmas Eve or something. So they'll put that information out, but it usually is right around the middle of the month. And I find that there definitely is a lot of opportunity right up until that first couple weeks of December. But it does depend on how you market it too. Because it can be a really fun thing where people get your friends together for a Christmas party, basically, and make some Christmas cookies, or, just have like wine and you make an appetizer to go along with it. And it can be very sort of a fun social thing to get together with their friends that they might not see otherwise over the holidays. It can be, for gift giving. It can be for their own cooking. If you're going to bake over the holidays, let's have a party and, show people how to make some cool things, or, let the host get the things that they might want for themselves free for their holiday baking. So really working at it so that the holidays make it the perfect time to have a show rather than, a bad time to have a show. Does that make sense? Janine, you have any thoughts on that?
Just a couple. I mean, I agree about the sort of the deadline for Christmas delivery is like the sort of the point where it slows down for me typically. Also partly because I have made a point of not wanting to work the last couple weeks of December. But I have had people who've had an interest in doing parties like the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Yes, absolutely.
Because there are family members in from out of town, or, you know, they're off work for that week. So, or, you know, and they and their friends, you know, sometimes there's a paper mill around here and there might be a shutdown between, you know, the Christmas and New Year's. So they want to do it then. But the other thing I found that I like to do is, sort of gear my shows to holiday specific things. Like Jill said, cookie, you know, like cookie exchanges or something like that. But also you can take almost any chicken recipe and turn it into a hide the turkey recipe. And, you know, basically just sort of a holiday theme party to teach them how, you know, or ways that they can use up that leftover turkey, or you could even do it with ham. There's lots of recipes for ham. You know, just people latch on to that kind of stuff just to make it sort of interesting, I found. So,
yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
You know, you with virtual shows, there's not that much difference, but you certainly can do theme things on there too. And it could be a gift giving theme. It could be, you know, and every day might be a little bit different for people. You know, this might be for kids. These are things that make great gift for kids, or for people that don't like to cook, or people who like to entertain. So you've got the wine things and the entertaining platters, or for people who like to bake. So kind of like who's on your list, your Christmas list to buy for. And here are some of the different things that, you know, we have that would be great for that. So you can definitely do, even for virtual parties, something that really ties in with the holidays. And again, I think the key is to approach from the standpoint of, instead of, ooh, this is going to be a tough time, this is the best possible time to have a party because of the holidays, instead of, oh, we can't have a party because of holidays. You know what I mean? And a lot of the way that people will respond to that will be based on how we present it. And our, again, sort of our mindset going into it, an expectation of the benefits of doing a party around the holidays rather than seeing that as a drawback.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I have to say, I'm not doing very well with keeping these to 30 minutes. And I apologize, except at the same time, I've loved talking with you guys about this stuff. So hopefully that you have felt it's been a good use of your time. And I'll post the drawings or the form for you to fill out, and then also the link to that audio. That's your homework. Then there'll be some other things that are just kind of, you know, great resources if you have the time and you want to go ahead and jump into some of the other ones as well. Okay.
Sounds good.
All righty. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. On my